In this video, we will look into setting up invoice scheme. Invoice scheme is also known as the invoice numbers, like the numbers which are present for the invoice. To uniquely identify a invoice, we give a invoice number to them. So let us go to the settings, business set, in invoice settings, and here we have the invoice scheme tab. So let us click on the add a new scheme. So here you can see like we have two different formats. One is this one, second one is having a year prefix to it. So if I will click on the first format, like it is showing me the name, it is asking me for the prefix, it is asking me for the start number and the number of digits. So let me just name it as format 1. I will give the prefix as FM1, or like let me keep it as FM, okay, 1. Start number is 100. Like if I want to start my invoice from 100, I have to give it as 100. So number of digits I need in the invoice. So if suppose like we need 5 digits, you have to select it as 5. If we need 10 digits, you can select it as 10. So you can see like the number of digits, it is changing over here. So it is showing a preview over here, like I have given the prefix as fm1, so the prefix is fm1 here. I have given the start number as 100, so the start number is 100 over here. The number of digits is 10, so this number of digits which is shown over here is 10. Let me just reduce it for now, let me keep it as 4. We can set it as default, like I will set it as default and I will save it. Okay, so now to use this invoice scheme, we have to go to the business locations, and in the business location, I have to set like which scheme I want to use for this particular location. Like here in the business location, we can see all the different locations. So let me click on the edit of this location. Here we have an option to select the invoice scheme. So by default, it is showing me the default one. I will click on the format one and I will save it. So the same invoice scheme option will be present while you are adding a new business location. So if I'm adding a new business location, here also you can see like it is showing me an option for invoice scheme for this particular location. So I will go to the sales screen, POS screen, and I will sell a particular product. I have added this product to the cart. Let me click on the cash button. So after clicking on the cash button, it will show me the invoice preview. So in the invoice preview, like you can check the invoice number, it is showing me as FM1, which was our prefix, and the starting number is 100, FM10100. Let me create another invoice to check like if the invoice number is getting incremented or not. Let me click on the cash again. Okay, now you can see like the invoice number is 101, FM10101. So the invoice number is getting incremented every time. Okay, let me go to the sales screen. I will click on add sales. I will open the add sales in new tab. So here in the add sales, like in the add sales, we have an option to select the invoice scheme as well. Like if suppose for a particular customer, you want to have a different scheme, or like if we have different schemes for different customer, then like we recommend using this add sales screen. Here you have an option to select the invoice format, invoice scheme as well. So let me click it over here. Let me select the status as final. Okay, I will submit, save and okay. So I have clicked on save and print, and here you can see like the invoice number it is showing me is FM10102. So I will go back again to the same screen. Let me try selecting different invoice scheme over there. I will select the invoice scheme here as default. It's final. Click on save and print. Okay, so here you can see like the invoice number, it is showing me as a different invoice number it's shown over here. Like it is showing me AS 000 and 6, like which is the invoice format for the default one. So like this you can control the invoice numbers which are getting generated or which are automatically getting generated. Let us try the another invoice scheme which we have. Let me go to the invoice settings and let us give a try to another invoice. Let me create another invoice scheme. I will select this second format. I will name it as format 2. So the prefix by default it is showing me as 2020. Like by default the prefix will be the default year. Okay, let me start it from 200. Number of digits is 7. I will click on the save. I will go to the add sales screen. I will select the invoice scheme as format 2. Select the status as final. Okay, let me click on print. Okay, now you can see like the invoice number which is getting generated have a prefix of the current year. Like it is showing me as 2020 and the in starting number is like 200 and the number of digit counts is 7 which we set it over there. So like this you can control the invoice numbers, like the numbers which are automatically getting generated from this invoice scheme. So that's all for the invoice scheme.